Hello everybody, I am Sam Hope and I'm the Graduate Recruitment Manager at Shoosmiths. So I'm going to talk to you today about insight evenings and attending insight evenings or open days at law firms. I'll get to that in a second, but a little bit more about me and what I do. So I run the Graduate Recruitment Trainee Solicitor Programme at Shoosmiths. We have 11 offices across the UK. We're a national business and I recruit trainee solicitors, summer placements and also run insight evenings at 9 of those 11 offices. So we don't recruit currently into our London office or our Belfast office for trainee level. So just want to check that you can hear me okay and clearly. So if you can just hit the wow face to let me know that you can hear me okay on today's video. I am today filming in our Northampton office, so you can see behind me we've got the lovely lake and the fountains behind us. So I want to know, where are you watching me from today? So just type into the comments where you're watching us. Throughout the video you can ask questions at any time just by typing them into the comments, and at the end of the video I will answer all of your questions live on this video. If you're not able to watch the full video, then we do share it on Facebook and YouTube after the live broadcast, but hopefully we shouldn't be online for too long today and you should be able to stay with us the whole time. So if you think there's anybody else, any of your friends or colleagues that might be interested in coming to an insight evening at Shoosmiths, then do tag them in the comments as well, because they can get the most out of watching this video and find out a bit more about the events that we run. So I'm going to talk to you about the insight evenings and then I'll come on to some of the questions that you've asked. So what is an insight evening, firstly? So for us, our insight evenings are open to any student and any graduate to come to. So you don't have to be studying law, you don't have to be a second or third year, any student and any graduate. And that's really important to us because we want anybody really to be able to come and learn more about how to get started in a career in law at Shoosmiths. So what I would recommend that you think about what location or which Shoosmiths office you might be interested in long term, and advise you to attend the insight evening at that location. And for two reasons really. One is so that you get to see a bit of that office where you might be based and where you'll be working, but also so you start to build up the networks with trainees, solicitors, partners and the graduate recruitment team and HR in the location where you're interested in working. And this is important because we do recruit into specific office locations. So building those networks up in that office, you might then see on a summer vacation placement, or who might be assessing you later on the assessment day, is important for that continuity in your recruitment process and for the networks that you're building. So what's the insight evening all about? So it's for you to get your foot in the door, find out a little bit more about Shoosmiths and about what we can offer in terms of the structure of the training contract, learn a bit about perhaps the areas of law that you might be interested in, so you can start to think about the different areas of law we offer in different offices, but also for you to get some hints and tips and great advice for your training contract application as well. So we hope that at the event you'll be able to develop some really good relationships with people. You'll be able to develop some commercial awareness skills. We don't assess you at the event, but we do try and provide you with something useful to go away with. And also for you to take away, obviously, that great advice for training contract applications as well. So what happens at the insight evening in terms of the agenda? So it's really important, I guess, to note, first of all, that it's an evening. So we run the insight events from around 6 till 8:30 p.m. at night. And we do this because we think it's important that you should be able to fit an insight event in around your other commitments. So whether you're studying, whether you're working, full or part-time, if you've got caring commitments, whatever it is, we think that a couple of hours in the evening should be a bit easier for you to fit in rather than perhaps a full day. When you arrive in the office, you'll be welcomed by our trainee solicitors and you'll be offered some refreshments and to make yourself at home. And we always find people always feeling a little bit nervous at that stage because you don't know what to expect. You don't really know how the event is going to unfold and really what the level of formality is. And yes, it's important to make a great first impression, but of course we want you to relax and enjoy the evening as well because you'll get the most out of it. So we then talked to you a little bit about how to apply to Shoosmiths, so that if you go away from the event thinking, yeah, actually I really like this firm, I can see myself here, then you know what to do next. So usually that's myself or my colleague Amy, who'll be talking to you a little bit about how to apply. We also talked to you about how we score the application forms, and I think that's really important and a slightly different angle on the application, because you get to understand really what it is that we're looking for in terms of the skills and the competencies that you're able to show, and where we weight most points to on the application form. You'll then have a couple of presentations or short talks by qualified solicitors or partners in the firm who will talk to you a little bit about their area of law and what they do on a day-to-day basis, some of the cases and big things that they worked on that they're proud of, but also about their journey from being a student themselves right through to where they are now at Shoosmiths. There'll be an opportunity for you to ask anything that you want throughout the whole evening, but particularly in the Q&A panel. So in the Q&A panel, there'll be some solicitors and trainees and NQs, and you can ask them about their experience about training at Shoosmiths, their experience in a certain area of law, and whether they have any advice or tips for you on how you can get the most out of applying for roles. At the end, we finish with some networking and refreshments, and that again obviously is an opportunity for you to develop those networking skills, build relationships, and also don't forget to of course follow up on those once you get home as well. So overall, it's a pretty relaxed event where we want you to enjoy yourself. So I mentioned that we don't assess you, and that is true, we're not assessing you, but we are looking for you to make a great first impression. We are looking for candidates who ask really great questions, who are not afraid to get stuck in, to put their hands up and introduce themselves to people. So that is an opportunity for you to shine as well. So I mentioned that at the end there'll be some networking and refreshments, and I think it's really important at this point to mention that we don't serve alcohol at any of our student recruitment events, and we took this decision a few years ago. We thought that it fits quite nicely and aligns well with what we think about in terms of health and well-being in the firm, but also sits very nicely in terms of what we try to promote in terms of our commitment to diversity and social mobility as well. And we surveyed many students who had come to our events in the past, and we asked them, what do you think about this change? And the feedback was very positive. So instead we serve lots of really cool like juices and smoothies and mocktails. So it's not just your boring water and squash and coffee, but we do try and make it a little bit fun as well. So if you like the sound of the Insight Evenings and finding out a little bit more about Shoosmiths, you'll want to know when are they and how do you apply. So firstly, when are the Insight Evenings? So we hold them across 9 offices in January and February 2019, and the dates for each of those office Insight Evenings is on our website. We'll share the link for that on the video afterwards, so you can see exactly which office and what dates you might be available. We are currently hosting an application form where you can apply to attend an Insight Evening. Now the application deadline is on the 30th of November, so that's Friday the 30th of November. That's about just over 3 weeks away, so you've got plenty of time still to apply. And I would absolutely recommend that you do go and submit an application if you'd like to find out more information about Shoosmiths. One of the things that's important to remember is that it's a much shorter application. So it can always feel like another application, another load of work to do on top of everything else that you're already doing, but actually it's just one competency question that you need to answer about what you think you will get out of the Insight Evening and why you think you might like to find out more about Shoosmiths. try and include some skills that you've developed, perhaps some experiences that you've already been on that have shaped your idea that you want to find out more about us in your answer. And that will really help you to score well. Of course, we're also looking for your personal details, but you can use My Locker through Law Careers Net to save those details so you're not having to input them every single time you go through an application process. So do look into that. And again, we'll share that link at the end of this video. So if you're applying for an Insight evening, what about placement and training contract applications? When does it all work in terms of throughout the year? When do you apply for things? So my advice would be to submit your Insight evening application now, definitely by the end of November, and then wait to hear the outcome of that application to see whether you've been successfully invited to an Insight evening. So you should hear from us during late December, very early January, to let you know whether you've been successful. If you have, that's fantastic. Obviously, come along. And we would then recommend that you submit a placement and training contract application after you have attended the Insight evening, because you're going to be going away with lots of advice and information from the Insight evening that you can use in your summer placement and training contract application. If you hear that you're unsuccessful for the Insight evening, I'm really sorry, but that doesn't mean you can't go on to apply for the VAC scheme or training contract. It's just that we have limited numbers of people that we can accept onto each event. So you can go ahead and fill in the summer placement and training contract application at that stage. My advice to you would be to submit the placement and training application by the 28th of February, which is the deadline for the VAC scheme. For me, I think it's really important for candidates to be committed to Shoosmiths and showing an interest in the Insight evening, the placement and the training contract, because you're showing that you're committed to all those different areas. And just because you might be unsuccessful for one part of that, it doesn't mean that you'll be unsuccessful for all parts. And of course, throughout that process, you might develop other skills or have experiences elsewhere that you want to include on the later application forms. So, okay, so I've covered the dates, I've covered how to apply. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, I guess, why it is so important to come on an Insight evening for anybody. And for me, I think this is because people are applying from all different stages in their careers and their studies. So I think whatever stage you're at, the Insight evening will really be suitable for you to find out more, and you'll get as much out of it if you're perhaps a paralegal in another firm as somebody who's a first year law student, because the advice is so unique and tailored to the event that it's really going to give you some great guidance going into your career. And like I say, just in terms of that commitment to the firm, I think it's really important. So before I move on to any questions, I just want to say that you can catch up on any of our previous careers advice on YouTube or on Facebook. You just need to type in #Shoosmiths Live and you'll be able to find our videos that way. We also do have a careers blog on our website where we post an article at least once a fortnight, if not more regularly, and they're written by our graduate recruitment team, HR, and also our trainees. And it's advice about getting into a career in law. So you'll find loads of information on there about Insight evenings and about applications and how to apply. So we've had a couple of questions that have already been submitted today through our Instagram story. If you don't already follow us on Instagram, do head over there. We're just Shoosmiths Grads. We post regularly pictures of our offices, but also loads of stuff about what we're doing. All goes onto our Instagram story as well. So firstly, somebody wanted to know what the dress code would be like for the Insight evening. So it is smart. We would advise you to come dressed smart, business wear, just because you want to make that first great impression. But it's not really formal. You don't have to wear a tie and a suit. It's just smart. We don't expect you to be going out and buying brand new suit just to come along to our Insight evening. Don't worry. And also, I already mentioned the answer to this, but somebody messaged to ask would they be assessed at the event. So no, you won't be assessed at the event, but you'll want to make a great impression. The event is just simply a great chance for you to find out more about us, develop some networks, and go away with some skills. We had a question come in from the London Lawyer on Instagram, and she said, what are the best tips to secure a training contract at Shoosmiths? And I think that firstly, understanding really what we do as a firm is really important, and being able to then demonstrate that on your application form and back it up with your own skills and experiences that show that your values align with ours. I think that the next hurdle would then be the application form, of course, so making sure that you are allowing yourself enough time to complete the application form and thinking about the competencies that we are really looking for in our future lawyers, and making sure that all those skills that you talk about, you're linking back to say, and this would make me a good lawyer at Shoosmiths because... and then you've got the assessment centre. So getting through the assessment centre is about your performance on that day. And I think that not letting your nerves get the better of you means that actually your performance will be so much better. And part of that, not letting the nerves get to you, is by having done your research, understanding what Shoosmiths does as business, and also knowing that your values align with us. So at every single part of that process, it's so important to have that knowledge and understanding about the firm and about you and what you want from your career, because that will really help you at each stage of the assessment process. We had another question come in, and I love this one. This is from the London Law Student on Instagram, and she asked us, what animal would you describe your firm as? And because the question was submitted onto Instagram story before I came into the video today, I asked some of my team what they would describe the firm as, and they said lion. And they said because of proud and regal and like it's, you know, the king of the jungle, and I love that. But I was thinking about something that wasn't so cliche. So I think Shoosmiths could be kind of like a llama, and I've got some reasons to back this up. So llamas are pretty smart animals, and they're really easy to train. So I was thinking, well, we're lawyers, we're smart. Llamas are also really social animals, and they're like herd animals. They really like to be together, and they like spending time with humans as well. I don't know if anybody's done llama walking or anything, but you'll know that they're really social animals. And I think as well, that's us at Shoosmiths. We're very social. We really love building relationships with each other, with clients, networking. It's something that we really think is important, to be collaborating on things with other people. It's a people business, so that's really important to us. And I read a fact about a llama. I'm going to share it with you. So llamas apparently know their own limits. So if you were to overload a llama and make them carry too much, they would just refuse, or they would just lay down. So they wouldn't try to overcarry and then get hurt along the way. But I thought that's great. Knowing your own strengths and knowing what your limits are is really important. And I think that is also true of Shoosmiths. We know what our strengths are, and we put the best lawyers onto the right type of work. So yeah, so I'm going to go with llama. They're pretty friendly, aren't they? So thank you so much for submitting those questions to our Instagram stories. If you've got any questions now, you can just type them into the comments. I'm just going to pop on here and see if you guys have asked any questions of me. So bear with me a second while I bring up the video. Usually just a slight delay in it coming up. Okay, so I'm just loading the video now to see if you guys have commented any questions on there. So bear with me a second. So one of the other things I wanted to mention as well, just while that video is loading, is that If you don't make it to an Insight evening, or you can't make the dates, or you don't get selected to attend, then there are plenty more opportunities to meet with us throughout the year. So we partner with aspiring solicitors and we run a number of events with them. So always worth checking out on the Aspiring Solicitors website to see if Shoosmiths have got any events running that you can apply to. Of course, we attend a huge number of law fairs, and we're out at quite a lot of law fairs in the coming month. So again, look at our website, see where we're going to be in the next few weeks. But also, of course, on Facebook Live. So we're broadcasting a couple of times a month with different topics, answering your questions. And even though it might not be the same as meeting us in person and being able to network with partners and solicitors, it is a good chance for you to learn more about us. So we would recommend that you hit the follow button now on the video so that you get notifications of when we go live in the future, and share this video with your friends and colleagues who might also be interested in finding out more about a career in law. Okay, so the video is loaded, so I'm going to just have a look and see if any questions have come through. So I haven't had any questions through. There's still time if you'd like to ask one, and I can see that Amy has been typing a couple of great tips on there as well about dressing smartly and making a positive impression, which I would just like to reiterate is it's all about making a positive impression on the Insight evening, but also going away with some advice as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching today. I want to remind you that we are broadcasting live next week with Chrissy Wolfe. She is the creator of Law and Broader, the YouTube channel and vlog, and I think that conversation is going to be really interesting. So do tune into that. That's going to be at 12:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 15th of November, and we'll be talking all about her route into law, why she decided on the area of law that she has, and also what got her involved in vlogging in the first place. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.